Today we're going to be putting dowel holes in some stock to make a frame and panel, and to do that we're going to be using the Ozzie Multi Jig DJ6
This
and 8.
is the DJ6 and 8. It comes with several components. You've got the end stop, you've got a 6mm Allen key to do the cap screws up with. These are M6 cap screws, 90mm long. Okay, you've got two base plates, one go on either side of the spacing bar, and you've got the nut bar. Okay, and it goes together like this. Okay, because we're going to be using the 6mm guides, you put the 6mm holes next to the spacer plate. Okay, and that one goes in there like that with the 6mm holes next to the spacing plate again. Okay, stop goes in here like that. Then you put the bar up to it. And just wind it in. I might just add at this point that the stop is used to rest your stock up against, and it isn't necessarily required, but just to make sure it's straight, you make it level with the other side of the space bars, and you do the cap screws up. And that's it there. Righto. On your stock you always put a face mark. You can see the chalk there, and an edge mark. This is an old piece of timber. When you're using the jig, you've just got to make absolutely certain that you do the same thing for each side of the frame. And the right way to do it is to put the face mark into the space bar, into the middle, with the edge mark facing downwards. Alright, you butt it up against that. Get your Bessie clamp, put it together, and you'll notice if you look down there that the stock sits flat on the bottom of the base plate. Once you've done that, you put it into a vise and you drill the amount of holes required. Once you've drilled those holes, you take it out of the jig. Right, remember to do the other end, you just flip it round. That keeps the face mark into the stop and the edge mark down to the base, and you just repeat the process. Okay, do it up with your Bessie clamp, flip it over, put it in your vise, and you're ready to drill the next 3 holes. You repeat that process for all the sides, and before you even actually start, it's better to lay your timber out how it's going to eventually finish. You put all your face marks in the same way, and you mark over the joints where they're going to join. Okay, that way you know where the pieces go. You can't mix them up. This end can't fit down this end once it's been drilled. Right, so if you put little marks in there across the joint, you'll know where they go. Alright, you can also, with the piece of chalk, when you start, just mark the surfaces that are going to be drilled. So you mark it here, and on the style you'd mark it on the end grain. Right, that way you know where you're going to have to drill. It's just a fail safe so that you don't make mistakes like I did here. However, if you do make the mistake, you can always put little bits of dowel in the holes where you've drilled the incorrect where they're in the incorrect position, and you can always cut them down with a flush cutting saw and just sand them up. Okay, when the panel goes into the cabinet that I'm making these for, you won't see that. So that's how you recover from that mistake. But to avoid that in the first place, you just mark the surfaces which are going to be drilled, and that way you can't go wrong.